This is the Etienne Global News. First, the headlines. Iguruta women protest against SPDC oil spillage in communities. Court fixes July 17 to hear RFI suit against Assembly. Bill to introduce diaspora voting skills second reading. President Tinubu creates Ministry of Livestock Development. Russia missiles kill 33 in Ukraine Children Hospital. Victor Osimhen starts pre-season with Napoli. Veteran Kanayo decries ungratefulness after financial help. A very pleasant evening to you, and thank you for joining us on the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. My name is Angel Mukoma, and now the details of our stories. Women in Iguruta, a host community to Shell Petroleum Limited, have called on the international oil company to hasten up in the cleaning and restoration process of their community following the incessant rate of crude oil spillage, aquatic and health damage, including environmental degradation caused by their operations. Speaking to Atlantic Television News Network, the women in the protest with placards inscribed "Gas Flaring Kills, Climate Justice Now, Power Up Renewable Energy," amongst others, calling on Shell to also stop the gas flaring and focus on building indigenous capacity.
It has been here for 40 years now. There is no improvement in our land. About 40 years. This light has caused sickness, damages in our land. This light has made some women not to conceive. This light has made us to stay stagnant. This light has made us fire every day. We plant flowers and we don't harvest. The reason why we are here today is that Shell should improve, to give us employment. Our daughters, they are ready to work, they are graduates, nothing is happening. When they are ready to employ our people, they put them at the gate. They give them a little change, and they are in our land, and we are suffering. Please, we are asking. Our health center is not completed. They should complete our project. They should do road for us. We don't have light, we don't have water. Please, we are calling on Shell to come and assist us.
No good road, no light, nothing. This night is disturbing us. The sound we cannot hear. We are in the front, we cannot hear. We are not hearing very well now because of the sound of that flame. The flame is disturbing us, changing the whole environment. We cannot get anything again. So we are calling upon the Shell.
Speaking, Coordinator African Core Network said the mandate of the non-governmental organization is to ensure that oil companies in the Niger Delta region operate in line with safety rules and to salvage host communities from both environmental and health degradation from oil multinational companies.
Create a narrative where gas is not green. We don't view it as a transition fuel that should be used for future systems for Africa. It's really grounded on the idea that gas will foster development, but instead we're pushing for renewable energy in terms of a solutions-oriented approach. When we're looking at all the gas investment that have currently happened in Africa, there's very little development that we can speak of. Historically, we're looking at 600 million people without energy access as a result of the fossil fuel industry. And we cannot create a method to which we're walking towards a path that is really governed by fossil fuels. Instead, we're looking for renewable energy, because what we are trying to do is to create a renewed vision for the people of Africa, one that would foster not only sustainability.
In Nigeria flare about 17.2 billion metric on natural gas per year, every per year. You can see it, it's on now, Ever since 1958 to date, this is what we record in our community. But in English, they say too much of everything is bad. So the kind of effect, the kind of devastating environment in Nigeria, in Niger Delta, is something that is called for attention, urgent attention. Why do I say so? People that study, research, they say that people live in this community, in Niger Delta, their life expectancy have dropped down to 41 years. What is the issue? These gas flaring have an increased risk of death. Our comrades here and local communities in the Niger Delta who have been suffering for environmental pollution without remediation or compensation. And now Share wants to leave Niger Delta, leaving us with stranded assets, stranded community, and stranded personnel. And we are saying no to that. You cannot come to a man's house, use the house, living without fixing those things that you've done. So we are asking that they share with a morality. Let them fix Niger Delta, where you've used to collect money since 1956. It's ethical that you ensure compensation and do due diligence to remediation. So we are not asking too much. Niger Delta have been beneficial to you, to the IOCs, and to the government. Here generates 80% of Nigerian livelihoods. And this is where you get the same resources from. We live in poverty. We live without nothing to show for. We are predominantly farmers and fishermen.
Niger Delta Development Commission has offered an aggregate expenditure of 1.911 trillion naira for the 2024 budget tagged Budget of Renewed Hope. The managing director of NDDC, Samuel Ebuku, who presented the budget before the House of Reps Committee on NDDC in Abuja today, said the primary objective in preparing the budget was to achieve the sustainable economic development for which the commission was founded. Other than that, a critical focus of the budget is the present management commitment to a greater future. While the Commission's actual aggregate revenue in inflows on April 30 was 683.2 billion naira and approximately 78% of the targeted 867 billion naira. These, according to him, comprises 146.4 billion naira, representing 122% from the federal government, and 394.5 billion naira, and representing 14% from the oil and gas companies, which was carried forward 105 billion naira from 2023. The NDDC boss also said despite the challenges, the Commission had continued to meet its obligations. Other than that, the proposed personnel budget estimate for 2024 is 38.5 billion naira. Meanwhile, the chairman of the committee, Shenu Ibori, said that the budget remained a crucial component of any organization's success and progress. The committee was committed to examine thoroughly the 2024 budget to ensure its optimal use. Analysts has expressed disappointment over the appeal court's judgment on Rivers lawmakers. Speaking on Atlantic Television Open Conversation, a political analyst, Emmanuel Iruyanama, expounded his opinion on the judgment as unsatisfactory.
Last Monday, what the judgment is actually talking about is actually an issue of jurisdiction. I'm aware that the other group had others actually gone on appeal of that same judgment. Because for me, that judgment is very funny. The issue of the Federal High Court having exclusive jurisdiction is an issue that has not, and that's one of the biggest problems we have in this country, where laws are made with an intent perhaps to remove an existing law and not doing the needful, as it were. Assembly matters hitherto were rights of state high courts, and only but not too long was the federal high courts brought into it. But the part where it said that the federal state high courts had the right have not been expunged. It's my strong opinion that the appeal court erred.
Meanwhile, Asim Adams blamed the lingering Rivers political feud on abuse of court processes.
Ujumbo, otherwise known as factional speaker, or one of the factional speakers of the Rivers State House of Assembly, on his own prompting, on his own prompting. There was nobody that was, or put a gun to his head or put whatever to his head, ran to a court in River State. The 27 lawmakers did not go to court. Like he said that they are supposed to go. They didn't go to court. They stayed and they were abiding by whatever climate they found themselves. He ran to court and said, Mr. Court, or Mr. Judge, please make pronouncement that I am the substantive and legitimate speaker. That, number one, I am the substantive and legitimate speaker. The question I asked Okojomi in the first instance is this: has anybody challenged you? The governor is supporting you. The people so-called you said that your supporters are supporting you. They even wanted to pull down the House of Assembly quarters. You followed them with the governor there. Nobody has threatened you or threatened the office. You now went to that court to say, declare me that I'm the speaker and the legitimate speaker. No problem. Number one.
This is coming as the River State lawmakers, loyal to the FCT Minister Ezenwo Nyesom issued Governor Fubara 7 days ultimatum to represent 2024 budget. The 21st century youth of Niger Delta and agitators with consciences urging President Bola Tinubu to intervene on the unending political crisis in River State, describing it as disturbing, worrisome and unacceptable. A statement by the leader of the youth group, Izon AB, condemned the long silence of the president, adding that the reason for the current crisis and skirmishes by political actors in River State was not far-fetched. AB accused Tinubu of refusing to call the Minister of Federal Capital Territory Administration and former Governor of River State, Nyesom Wike, to order, and warned that Wike's quest for political control of a state governor and government apparatus should not be sanctioned and approved by the president, as it seems to be at the moment. According to him, the reason for the political crisis in River State is a fight between a political godfather and a godson, as well as a resistance to the capture of state resources and institutions for the use and benefit of a godfather and his people. Delta State Governor Sharif Oborowari says the state has achieved gender balance and the appointment of permanent secretaries, with 23 men and 17 women holding the positions. He made the statement in Asaba, the Delta State capital, during a court visit by the Forum of Female Permanent Secretaries, led by Dr. Minini Oseji, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Environment. Governor Borowari expressed satisfaction with the performance of the permanent secretaries and urged them to continue their effort in supporting his agenda and ensure that the state would continue to create a conducive work environment for civil servants and provide opportunities for their training and retraining to ensure maximum productivity. Borowari emphasized the importance of training, other than that, if justified approval would be given. Other than that, the forum was established in October 2021 to provide a platform for female permanent secretaries to discuss matters of common interest. She commended Governor Borowari for his people-centered project executed across the state, including the provision of official cars for 7 permanent secretaries, and appealed for the provision of accommodation for 7 permanent secretaries. Other than that, what they have currently was inadequate for the number of permanent secretaries in their state. 3 communities have been submerged by flood in the Uyo metropolis following incessant downpours, and the affected communities include Nung, Obio, Enang along Stadium Road, Ura, Ekpa Access, and Afoko villages in Uyo metropolis. While urging government to speedily intervene, residents of Nung, Obio, Enang, one of the affected communities which is located along Gosulakpabio International Stadium, Uyo, at the state capital, have fled their homes following the submergence of their houses by the flood. Other than that, the flooding has been a perennial problem in the community for the past 12 years, and called on the state government to immediately intervened to save the community from the disaster. Afa-Oko village was also not spared from the disaster, and more than 50 houses has been washed away by the flood. In Ura Ekpa, residents have experienced perennial floods for many years, causing them to relocate to other places where their houses submerged in the flood. Nigerian Navy ship Delta has uncovered 2 illegal refining sites in the coastal communities of Ajasolo and Ubukoko in the Warri South local government area of Delta State. The Joint Task Force codenamed Operation Delta Save said it arrested 4 suspects and the recovery of 48,000 liters of stolen crude oil in Rivers State. Commander NSS Delta Commodore Abba Mushin, represented by the Base Operations Officer Navy Commander Patrick Ali, also led naval personnel to the illegal site on Monday, where 5 metallic storage tanks, 4 ovens and 5 dugout pits were uncovered. Addressing journalists shortly after, Commodore Mushin said a suspect was apprehended with a wooden boat, while crude oil wellheads were also vandalized. The NNS Delta commander warned oil thieves and other criminals operating in the maritime space to desist or face the full wrath of the law. Abia State government says it will on Thursday unveil the 1 billion naira interest-free revolving loan scheme for 9,200 Abians from the 180 wards in the state in the first phase of the program. The State Commissioner for Information and Culture, OK Kanu, who discloses while briefing journalists on the outcome of this week's Executive Council meeting presided by the Governor, Alex Oti, said that 50 beneficiaries would be selected from each political ward in the state. Other than that, the scheme, which is an interventionist and empowerment program, would help the beneficiaries as well as have a positive effect on the state economy. He also said the governor will officially unveil the disbursement of the loan through the Abia State Cooperative and Support Schemes to support micro-businesses operating in the state. Kanu decried the rise in the vandalism of public schools and property in the state, adding that such acts of vandalism must stop forthwith, and urged President General, Town Union Executive and other stakeholders to take ownership of the public schools in their communities. Chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has exonerated President Bola Tinubu from the current economic hardship ravaging the country, insisting that it will be unfair for anybody to blame the president, describing the biting hardship as a global phenomenon not limited to Nigeria. Uzodinma disclosed this in a statement when he came on a solidarity visit to the Secretariat of the APC in Abuja to commiserate with the national chairman of the ruling party, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, over the loss of his mother-in-law, and accompanied by Governors Basi Otu of Cross River, Lakai Datuwa of Ondo, and Abiodu Oyebanji of Ekiti. He expressed optimism that the APC would wrest power from the People's Democratic Party-led government in Edo State at the September 21 governorship election. The governor also disclosed that some of the APC governors would also monitor the polls in Edo and Ondo State to show solidarity for their governorship candidates. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reintroduced the monthly environmental sanitation in the state. The State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, who disclosed this, said that State Executive Council has also given its approval for the introduction of the monthly exercise, and the sanitation would commence in July. The government said the exercise, which used to be held for 3 hours on the last Saturday of every month with restrictions and movement, needed to go to pave the way for a much-needed reform. This is coming after the former Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Steve Ayorinde, said the decision to cancel the monthly exercise followed a resolution adopted by the State Executive Council meeting. However, the reintroduction of the monthly environmental sanitation may not be connected to the recent flooding affecting some major parts of Lagos due to incessant rain. Some farmers in Ondo State have approached the State High Court sitting in Ondo Town in the state to challenge the sale of their farmland at Olua Forest Reserve in Odigbo local government area of the state by the state government. According to the concerned farmers under the auspices of Olua Forest Reserve farmers, the land measuring 2,482 hectares was sold to a foreign company while the certificate of occupancy had been issued to the buyer, rendering thousands of the concerned farmers jobless. In the suit filed by their counsel, Tokwe Mokun, on Tuesday, the court was asked to declare the action of the government in selling the land illegal. The defendants in the suit are the Ondo State Government, the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, the State Ministry of Agriculture, the State Commissioner for Agriculture, the former Chairman Ondo State Agribusiness and Empowerment Center, Akin Olotu and ACME Palm Limited. The claimant's lawyer said that farmers had written several letters to the state government to intervene in the matter, but to no response from the latter. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun has warned kidnappers and other criminals to stop the menace, adding that his administration would use all means available to chase them out of the state. Abiodun gave the warning on Tuesday when he received officers and men of the State Police Command who rescued a Nigerian and 3 Indian nationals kidnapped at Ileshan along the Shagamu-Benin Expressway last week. The governor, who acknowledged the gallantry effort of the policemen in rescuing the kidnapped victims, said his administration has put in place measures that would make the state too hot for criminals to operate. Abiodun, while commending the police for the string of successes recorded since the beginning of the year, said this would give investors and residents the confidence they needed to live and invest in the state, and as peace and security is a key enabler of the socio-economic development of a society. He also said the recent award as the Governor of the Year in the state security further underscored the fact that his administration's initiative, investment and support for security agencies were being acknowledged. The Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities and Allied Institutions of the University of Abuja has commenced protests over the failure of the government to release the 4-month salaries of the university workers during the period that embarked on strike in 2022. Chapter President Nuruddin Yusuf described the action of the government as provoking. Other than that, the federal government withheld the salaries of both academic and non-academic staff in Nigerian universities for taking part in an industrial action that grounded the universities for 8 months in 2022. And SANU and NASU participated in the strike for 4 months. This is coming after, in October, President Bola Tinubu ordered the payment of 4 of the 8 months withheld salaries for the academic staff, leaving out the non-teaching staff, and the development resulted in the renewed rift between the non-academic staff union and the government. Since the announcement, both Asano and NASU have kicked against the selective payment and asked to be included, while the academic staff only received the 4-month salaries paid in February. And the national bodies of the unions had declared a nationwide protest while addressing journalists. Yusuf said on March 18, 2024, the union invited government when they embarked on a week protest to draw the attention of the government to issues bordering on their welfare and university education in general, most especially the payment of salaries withheld for months. Aggrieved protester resident of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Shaibu Yushua, who attempted suicide at the Katankwe Hill, has been referred to the Social Development Secretariat for mental assessment and evaluation by the FCT Police Command. The event, which unfolded on Monday, July 8, 2024, saw Yushua climbing a high broadband mast and attempting to end his life, promoting widespread concern among residents. A statement by the Commissioner of Police for the FCT, Bernard Igwe, spoke on the necessity of maintaining public order while respecting individual rights to express grievances through lawful means. Other than that, if deemed mentally fit following evaluation, will face charges under Section 231, 111, and 114 of the Penal Code Act on attempted suicide, disturbance of public peace, and incitement. He also said the charges underscore the legal ramifications of actions that disrupt public tranquility and safety. Speaking on behalf of the FCT Police Command, the Police Public Relations Officer SP Josephine Adi conveyed the Commissioner's commitment to upholding law and order. Other than that, authorities are expected to proceed with due diligence in both legal and humanitarian aspects of the incident. The federal government of Nigeria said it has concluded plans to resettle Nigerians affected by conflict and address the humanitarian crisis caused by internal displacement across the country. The Vice President said that these are the groundbreaking ceremony of the resettlement scheme for persons impacted by conflict RSPI and the Tundun Birinin community in a Gambi local government area of Kaduna State. He also said the scheme will focus on 7 states disproportionately affected by farmers, headed conflict: Sokoto, Kebbi, Benue, Katsina, Zamfara, Niger, and Kaduna. Other than that, the goal is to break the cycle of violence and displacement that has plagued various parts of the country for years.
The resettlement scheme for persons impacted by conflict is a timely intervention not only to construct residences, roads, schools, and essential facilities for victims of conflict, but also to offer them a dignified environment to live and to dream. This resettlement scheme is more than just bricks and mortar. It is a symbol of our collective will to heal as a nation that has endured too much. It is an opportunity for each of us to come together and rebuild. It is a call to action. Because an eruption of conflict in one part of the country disrupts the rest. Conflict and displacement to us are not merely regional issues. They are national concerns that demand a unified response. They threaten the very fabric of our society, and it is only through justice, distributions of democratic dividends, and collaboration that we can overcome these challenges.
Additionally, Kaduna State Governor Ubasani said his government has disbursed over 275 million naira donated by individuals and private entities to alleviate the suffering of victims and the families affected by the drone attack. He mentioned the construction of a 6-kilometer road, a skill acquisition center, and a clinic to cater to the medical needs of the people.
Today is a day of joy because we are about to set the stage for the transformation of this community. Since the unfortunate incident, we have supported the victims, their families, and members of the community with relief materials. We have constructed a 6-kilometer asphaltic road to Tudimbiri village. This road, when completed, will open Tudimbiri village, link it to other communities, boost agriculture in the area, and ease movement of persons and goods. Similarly, a skill acquisition center is under construction, and we are building a clinic to cater for medical needs of the people. The state government is working closely with federal security forces to degrade and uproot bandits from their enclaves and restore peace and stability to our troubled communities.
Residents of the community expressed their delight, saying that the reconstruction effort would positively impact their lives and alleviate challenges related to bad roads, healthcare, and agriculture.
This thing happened, we feel pain for our body. We lost our people. The people will get injured, so for that we get pain. We don't feel good for that. So now we are free for everything in this life. We are very, very happy to see our vice president and our governor come and his people come to see how our lives be. school for ourselves. He built mosques. He brings soldiers that saves our lives. So now we are very, very happy to.
We are suffered to go to the hospital to look for medicine, or we are feel somehow to go to far away to look for what we need before we have it. We can feel happy because we people don't start to make everything clear for us.
We are happy that government promised that we will do house for us, road for us. Then we are happy there are people that are living for that village. That time we don't have road. If you want to go and selling something for market, no road. The government said that no, you will help us to do road for us. We are happy now.
The project marks a shift in the government approach to internal displacement and conflict resolution and demonstrate President Tinubu's commitment to not only provide temporary relief but also to ensure the long-term rehabilitation and reintegration of affected communities. A federal high court in Kaduna has faced July 17 to hear the fundamental rights suit filed by ex-governor Nasir El-Rufai against the State House of Assembly and others. El-Rufai is on the suit praying the court to quash a report of the Assembly indicting him of 423 billion naira thefts. In the suit, through his lawyer, Abdul Kahim Mustafa, El-Rufai argued that the Assembly breached his right to a fair hearing by not inviting him in the course of the probe and urging the court to declare the report of the Assembly's and ad hoc committee indicting it null and void. The Kaduna State Attorney General Sule Shaibu Sen, who is a defendant in the case, added that similar applications were supported by El-Rufai's lawyer Sule Umar, who did not oppose the applications for an extension of time, and consequently, Justice R.M. Aikawa adjourned the case till July 17 for hearing. The ad hoc committee set up by the Kaduna State House of Assembly to investigate all finances, loans and contracts awarded under El-Rufai had on June 5, 2024 indicted the ex-governor and some of his appointees of siphoning 423 billion naira state funds. Non-Academic Staff Union of Nigeria is calling on the federal government to pay their salaries and arrears. Addressing the newsmen in Kaduna on Tuesday, the branch chairman of NASA Federal Cooperative College, Kaduna, Gideon Kuka, said they are on the pace of protest to call on the attention of the federal government to ensure justice prevails by paying them what is right. He said since the president made the promise that payment would commence in January, nothing has been done despite several meetings between the union and the federal government. According to him, the national body of the Joint Committee of NASU and the federal government held a meeting on the 4th of July 2024 saying that there was no concrete resolution to address the plight of the workers who are living in a very difficult moment of trying to care of their families. He called on the federal government to look into the situation of workers in the country and find ways to urgently pay the salaries and the arrears of all the president who promised the workers. The Chelsea community in the Kulani district of Balanga local government area of Gingombe State has been struck by an outbreak of an unidentified disease resulting in 12 deaths and over 50 residents hospitalized. Medical Doctors Israel James and Yakubu Mena, who discloses while addressing the press, said the disease is not cholera and blood and water samples have been taken to determine the nature of the illness, stressing that more than 30% patients are bedridden with symptoms including severe headaches, high fever, jaundice and stomach pain. The doctors also advised the community to report any suspicious symptoms to the health center established at Chelsea Primary School. This is coming after Alhaji Musa Buba, the member representing Belanga North constituency at the Gombe State House of Assembly, donated drugs and consumables worth over 1.5 million naira to the Chelsea community. Leadership of the All Progressive Congress in Kano State has expressed conviction that the new Nigeria People's Party will be rejected by the peoples of Kano in 2027, following the political crisis rocking the state. The APC's statement was in response to an earlier report quoting the Kano NNPP chairman Hashimu Dunguruwa as saying the Kano Emirate crisis would cost President Bola Tinubu re-election in 2027. It has been embroidered as a crisis since May 24, 2024, when Governor Abba Yusuf reinstated Muhammadu Sanusi as the Emir of Kano. The development followed the repeal of the 2019 Kano Emirate law, leading to the removal of the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, and his counterpart in Bichi, Raye Rano and Gaya. This is coming after 5 emirs sacked to Sivia installed in 2020 by immediate past governor Abdullahi Ganduje, and the matter has become a legal issue as the deposed 15th Emir of Kano has rejected its removal. Operatives of Kano State Police have arrested a 22-year-old suspected kidnapper, Zakaria Muhammad, 16 hours after kidnapping an 18-month-old child. A statement by the police command spokesman SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiwa said Muhammad was arrested following a report from a resident who claimed that the father of the victim informed him of the incident, while the suspect demanded 2 million naira ransom for her release. The police boss also said Muhammad, who is a neighbor to the victim, confessed to having single-handedly committed the offense and led the detectives to where she held the victim hostage, and assured the public that this despicable act would not be tolerated, promising that the command will continue to leverage all its available assets to forestall all criminal activities and bring the perpetrators to justice. While appearing the law-abiding people of the state, the Commissioner of Police urged the community to remain vigilant and cooperate with the police in preventing and reporting criminal activities to help create a safer environment for all. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this short break. Please stay tuned.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so no dey, light outside, the infrastructure it can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the Marketer Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old since. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap am.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer na house suppose pay that one. You remember say me I tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy na.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money can't come now. You won't divert am. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
We're glad to have you back on the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. And now the rest of our stories. Senators have advised the federal government to follow the due process in implementing the Steve Orosanye Committee report, which recommended the scrapping and merging of many ministries, parastatals, agencies, commissions, and boards in order to cut the cost of governance. This is coming after President Bola Tinubu last February directed the implementation of the report through due date. There has yet to be released a list of scrapped or merged agencies effective from the date the directive was given, while senators said that due process required the president to first forward to the National Assembly a comprehensive documentation of the agencies to be scrapped or merged for the repeal of the establishment laws. They also stated that the new legislation will be enacted to establish the agencies that would inherit the functions of those to be scrapped or merged to give legal backing to their existence. Onawo also said the government's move would amount to an illegality insofar as it was not referred to the National Assembly for the necessary legislative input. In its resolution, the Senate advised the SGF and the minister to suspend the winding down of the National Film and the Video Censors Board forthwith and called for the immediate commencement of the process of repealing the act establishing the board. Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barrow has expressed optimism that the Northwest Development Commission bill would receive presidential assent for it to become an act. He said the bill, which has been passed into law by the legislature, will address challenges and teething problems facing the zone when signed by President Bola Tinubu. Barrow, who sponsored the bill in the 10th Senate, said all was set to transmit the bill to the president for assent, having been passed by the upper and lower legislative chambers. A statement by his media aide Ismail Mudashir in Abuja, Barrow said lawmakers derived comfort from President Tinubu's passion for the transformation of the country, and bills passed in line with that posture shall have no issues with the present assent. According to Barrow, the 7 states in the Northwest geopolitical zone would have their challenges addressed when the bill becomes an act, stressing that Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto, and Zamfara will not only be infrastructure developed, but the insecurity will gradually melt down for the agricultural activities to reboot in the zone that was once known as a food basket. House of Reps has passed the diaspora voting bill for second reading. The bill, co-sponsored by the Speaker Abbas Tajuddin and Sadiq Abdullahi, seeks to amend the 2022 Electoral Act and provide opportunities for Nigerians in diaspora to vote. Leading debate on the bill, Abdullahi said the proposed legislation will benefit every Nigerian outside the country. Other than that, the bill was passed without opposition on the floor and referred to the House Committee on Electoral Matters. House of Reps has advised the federal government to suspend the implementation of the Samoa Agreement over the alleged lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender clause. That is coming after the Legislative Chamber directed its Committee on National Planning to investigate the agreement within 4 weeks and report back for further legislative action. The House resolution was sequel to a motion of urgent public importance brought on the floor of the Green Chamber by the Minority Leader Aliu Madaki and 87 orders during plenary. Other than that, the Samoa Agreement is the overarching legal framework for the European Union's relations with 79 countries, including 48 African, 16 Caribbean, and 15 Pacific countries. Reacting to the development, the federal government denied the claim, stressing that Nigeria has existing legislation against same-sex relationships. House of Reps has urged the federal government to save lives by providing alternative power to teaching hospitals, medical centers and universities in the country, owing to the epileptic power supply across the country. The resolution of the House follows the adoption of a motion on urgent public importance moved by the member representing Ede North, Ede South, Egbedero Federal Constituency, Osun State, Bamidele Salam during Tuesday's plenary and called on the NEC to suspend forthwith the implementation of the new electricity tariff nationwide, but the Commission only made a downward review of the tariff. In the case of the University of Ibadan, the lawmaker said before the new tariff regime, it was indebted to the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company to the tune of 495 million naira and had its power disconnected. Salami, chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, operations. He said if urgent measures are not put in place to remove the burden of the new electricity tariff on teaching hospitals, medical centers and universities in Nigeria, as well as the entire health and education sectors may collapse due to factors endangering the lives of Nigerians. House of Reps has mandated its committees on petroleum resources downstream and midstream to investigate the return of fuel keys and the nation's service stations and propose lasting solutions to the oil sector's challenges. The decision of the House was sequel to the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by at Tuesday's plenary by the member representing Omowin Ohomod, a federal constituency, Edo State, Bio Osawaro. Leading the debate, Osawaro said there has been a resurgence of fuel keys and petrol stations with allegations of high cost of petrol and none of upstream domestic refineries in Nigeria, as well as disruption of distribution of the product. The mandate of the committee also includes probing the indiscriminate issuance of licenses and importation of refined petroleum products, alleged return of PMS price intervention, allegation of product unavailability to marketers from NNPC retail, as well as endless shifting of timelines for refinery rehabilitation and the nefarious activities at the Metro Depot. The committee will also conduct a legislative forensic investigation into the presence of middlemen in trading, indiscriminate issuance of licenses, as well as unavailability of laboratories to check adulterated products, influx of contaminated products into the country, including the allegation of non-domestication of profit realized from crude marketing sales in local banks, abuse of the PFI regime, and importation of products already being produced in Nigeria and use of trading companies to resell fuel stock to local refineries. Bill seeking the creation of 74 seats for women in the federal parliament passed a second reading in the House of Reps on Tuesday. The bill, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Carlo and 12 orders 6 to alter Section 48, 49, 71 and 117 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to create one special seat reserved exclusively for women in the Senate and House of Reps for each state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The bill proposes to take effect after the term of the current National Assembly lapses and is subject to review every 16 years, and also proposes to alter Section 91 of the Constitution to provide for 3 special seats reserved exclusively for women in the state houses of assembly. Leading the debate, a member representing Lavon Mokwa Edata Federal Constituency, Niger State and co-sponsor of the bill, Josh Chana, said the bill proposed law will address the profound imbalance and the underrepresentation of women in the National Assembly and at sub-national levels other than that. Even though the Constitution guarantees equal rights, the representation of the women in the legislature has been low. On his part, the minority leader of the House, Kingsley Chinda, supported the bill, saying that the parliament needs to correct the deficiency. House of Representatives has unveiled plans to withhold forthwith local government allocation for local government council across the country being governed by officials not elected democratically. The resolution was passed sequel to the adoption of a motion of urgent need to address the refusal of state government to uphold democratic principles in the local government and the financial impropriety of unelected local government officials, sponsored by Honorable Ademore Kuye. The House said it would mandate the joint committees on finance, revenue mobilization, and allocation to withhold local government allocation for local government run by officials not elected democratically. While in the alternative, the House directed RMFAC to create a special account into which such monies will be paid until democratically elected reps are put in place by such state government. The lawmakers also mandated the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to institute legal action against any state that terminates the unexpired tenure of local government administration and direct RAMFAC to withhold allocations due to such local government. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Olukoyade, will on Wednesday, July 10, inaugurate 22 justices of the Court of Appeal. They are to be sworn in alongside the 12 judges of the Federal High Court of the Federal Capital Territory same day at the main courtroom of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Director of Information and Press of the Supreme Court, Dr. Festus Akonde, in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja, confirmed that the inauguration of the jurists would hold at 10 a.m. The new justices are Abdullahi Mohammed, Lyman from Nasarawa State, Abiodun Azim Akinyemi from Ogun State, Olukoyade Adebola Adeni from Oyo State, as well as Zainab Bagi Abubakar from Kebbi State, Ishaq Mohammed Sani from Kaduna State, and Latif Babajide Lawal Akakpo from Lagos State, and Ngozika Yu Okai Sabo from Imo State, including others. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has rejected the ruling of Justice Nnamdi Dimba of the Federal High Court in Abuja, holding that the anti-graft agency failed to prove 1.2 billion naira fraud against Abiodun Agbele, an associate of ex-Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayoshi.
Look at the countries, Brazil and Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and all of these Arab nations. Ask yourself, the government has a percentage. Why is NLNG working in Nigeria? NLNG is only working in Nigeria because the government has a percentage. Multinationals have their percentage. Private individuals have their percentage. Therefore, they must ensure that it works. Corruption for one person because we are funding this by our budgeting. People are just there doing what they like. So whether you like it or not, Fela sang a song, it's a party government. And until we stop the party thing, the people are the ones to bear the brunt. It is a pity that the Niger Delta region, where we come from, have got men that make a lot of noises, but have little or no clout, memory-wise and capacity-wise to galvanize.
From the line, fact today.
Look at the countries, Brazil and Saudi Arabia, noises, but have little or no clout. The Niger Delta region, where we come from, have got men that make a lot of noises, but have little or no clout.